Today I want to show you how to prepare the Malaysian karipap. It is loved by everyone. You can get it at a roadside store, you can get it at the pasar malam, there's a night market, you can get it from the restaurant. But how about if you want to make it yourself at home? In these videos, I will show you in details every single step, break it down in sections so that you can fully understand how to prepare the Malaysian karipap. So this video will be a very comprehensive one, so just be a little bit patient and let's get started. Cut the onions into small uniform pieces. Lemongrass, use only the center part. Cut it into fine pieces. A teaspoon of chopped ginger, which I've done it. For the red chili, remove the pith and the seed if you want to reduce the spiciness. Then chop it finely. Chicken breast, cut into small cubes. And potatoes are cut into small cubes too. These are the ingredients I've just prepared, but I also need some other ingredients for the karipap. So this is the frozen peas, and I also need some chili powder, Malaysian curry powder, some light soy sauce, which is optional, but I prefer to add some to have some extra flavor, and of course season with some sugar and salt. Alright, all the ingredients are ready, so now we can start to cook to prepare the filling. Add some oil to the pan, add the lemongrass and the ginger to saute briefly. And then followed by the onion and the chopped chili. Continue to saute for another 2 to 3 minutes until the onions start to turn soft and translucent. And you can start to smell the aroma of the lemongrass. Next, add the chili powder and also the curry powder, and do it over low heat to bloom the spices. You may need to add a little more of the oil if necessary. Now you can really smell the aroma of the spices rising up. And now we add the chicken into it. And combine the chicken with all the spices. And you may need to add a small amount of water if it is too dry. Now we add the remaining ingredient, that's the soy sauce, the seasoning, salt and sugar, and also the potatoes. At this stage, if you need, you can add a bit more water. The goal is to cook slowly until the potatoes become soft and the sauce becomes thickened. And also it's time to test the seasoning, whether we need to add more curry powder or salt, etc. Now the texture now it is already quite soft. The potato is already soft and it starts to thicken. So I will add the final ingredient, that is the green pea, into it. And it is also the time to do a test to decide whether we need to add any salt, sugar, or any adjustment. The saltiness is sufficient, sugar, salt are all sufficient, but I would prefer to add just a little bit extra of the curry powder. So now the filling is already done. In the next section, I will show you how to make the pastry for the karipap. The filling can be kept in the refrigerator for 1 to 2 days. But since I will only make the pastry for the curry puff a few days later, I'll keep it in the freezer as it is able to last for a week at least. Okay, a few days ago, we have already made the fillings for the curry puff. So today we're going to make the dough. Now the dough is divided into two parts, the water dough and the oil dough, and then we combine both together to make the pastry. So these are the ingredients we need to make the water dough. Now we have the flour, we have butter, some sugar. I'm using the salted butter. That's the reason why I do not add extra salt. If I use unsalted butter, then you should add just a little bit of salt into it. So to make it is pretty simple. Put the flour into it. Regular flour, normal flour that you use to make cake or biscuit, that will do. And we add the sugar into it. And then the butter that has already cut into small pieces, you put it into it. Mix everything together first. And use my clean hand to rub it this way, just like making cakes. So rub it until it looks like becomes breadcrumb, and then slowly add some cold water into it. Now I do not want to add all the water into it at one go because sometimes it may be just too much. Because of the quality of the flour, sometimes it's not exactly the same. Sometimes I need to put a little bit more and sometimes a little bit less water. So just knead it this way until it becomes a soft, pliable, and stretchable dough. Okay, it's done. So I'm going to transfer it to surface to further knead it for a short while. Just to make sure that it is smooth and it is stretchable. So it's quite done now. Look at it. It is soft, pliable, stretchable, and it's not too wet. What I'm going to do is put it into the refrigerator, let it rest for a while, and meanwhile, I'm going to prepare the oil dough. For the oil dough, it's much simpler than the water dough. We only need two ingredients. That is the regular flour and some butter. So let me put the butter into the bowl. It is already quite soft now. And I'm going to put the flour into it. It not actually put all the flour inside. I keep some just to make sure that it is not too much. Although I have already measured it correctly, but sometimes I find that different types of oil and different types of flour that I use may require different quantity. Now you can use butter, you can use margarine, you can use lard, you can use shortening, it's really up to you, but today I use butter because the flavor is nice. Continue kneading the dough until it clumps together and become a soft dough like that. The surface of the mixing bowl, it looks like that. It's very pliable, very soft. And I did not use up all the flour that I have already measured. So that's enough flour to keep all the butter and also the flour together to form a dough. This is the oil dough. All right. Now it comes to the second part of it, that is to combine the oil dough and the water dough. So this is the water dough and this is the oil dough. I'm going to put the oil dough inside the water dough and use the water dough to wrap the oil dough inside. And how to do it? The easiest way is to put a pastry mat onto the work surface. It is very sticky so it won't move. And then what I'm going to do is to put a plastic wrap on top of the pastry mat so it is very firm and it is not moving and make it much easier for me to work on it. Now put the water dough right at the center. You can just use your hand now to form a circle. And the circle has to be big enough so that it's able to wrap the oil dough inside. So I need just to make it a little bit bigger. Now what I need is to fold it up like that, like wrapping like wrapping a char siu bao, something like that. Wrap it up. All right, it's like a big bao now. And with this, now the oil dough is inside the water dough. And this combined pastry will then become very flaky when I roll it out and fold it multiple times. And then I'll put another layer of plastic wrap on top before I roll it out. Now I can just roll it out this way by using the rolling pin, but it may stick. I use a plastic wrap and put it on top, and it will guarantee that it will not stick onto it. Now first I will use my hand to shape it. It is easier to use the hands to shape it initially rather than use a rolling pin. That's my method of doing it. Once it is flattened, then I will start to use the rolling pin to make it much thinner. Okay, now leave up the plastic sheet on top and then use the plastic sheet at the bottom to roll it up. And that is the first rolling. I'm going to put it into the refrigerator for about 20 minutes to let it cool and also let it relax before I do the second rolling. Alright, this pastry has been in the refrigerator for about 20 minutes. Now it should have already fully relaxed, as we have already rolled it once. Now I'm going to roll it the second time. To pick it up, it's quite sticky, so I will use a plastic sheet to pick it up so it's not sticky at all, and put it this way and roll it out again. And I always like to use my hand to do it initially to shape it to roughly a rectangle. One way of making it a proper rectangle is to use a rolling pin to put it here and then use my hand to press. This rectangle. Over here is the same thing. Just press and you get a rectangle. So now I'm going to lift up the first layer of the plastic and roll it up again like a Swiss roll for the second time. And this will repeat once more. I'm going to put it into the fridge, take it out, and do the whole process once more. So altogether 3 times. Fold it, again put it into the refrigerator and let it relax before I do the third time of rolling. So this is the final round of rolling out, and for this time I'm not going to roll up this way anymore, but we will do it the other way. That is to roll it this way. The goal is to make it into a long cylinder this way, because we are going to cut it into individual portions this way, but now it is still quite big. So what I would like to is to cut it into half. This way first, cut it into half, and we're going to deal with one after another. We keep this one first, and then I roll this out again to make it much longer. And after that, roll it this way to form a long cylinder. So I'm going to put it into the refrigerator and make it slightly firmer before I cut it into individual pieces to wrap the curry puff. This is a dough that I have already left it in the refrigerator for a few hours. And for today, I will use this mold to make the curry puff. And this is the first time I'm using this mold, so I don't really know how big it is going to be. Let's try it out roughly. I'll cut something like that and see whether it is good enough for the mold. And what I need to do now is to press it down this way and cover it. Press it down further. And then use a rolling pin to roll it into a round shape. I always like to use a plastic sheet because it's not going to be sticky. Now let's remove it. And put the filling inside. About that, I think should be enough, or just a little bit more. Okay. And then close it. Crimp strongly, and then press it firmly, and then remove the remaining outside. And that is my first curry puff. Let's make another one. For the remaining that I have already removed it, so I'm not going to waste it, and usually I'll just put right at the center and then roll it out again so it will not be wasted. Another trick I would like to show you, if you find that whatever that you have cut is just too little, it's too little, what you can do is to cut another one and then put it at the center and then roll it up again. So it's not a major issue if you cut it too small. So before I continue to do the rest, let me show you what I have done. I have this curry puff and put it on a tray with a paper. And if I want to keep it in the freezer and I only fried it much later, a few days or even 1 or 2 weeks later, and then I can transfer it after it is fully frozen into an airtight container. Now, if I'm going to put it into an airtight container now without frozen it, it will all stick together. Now it's time to fry the curry puff. You heat up the oil to about 170 degrees Celsius. Or if you do not have a kitchen thermometer, you can put a wooden chopstick into it. And if you can see the bubbles rising up, it's about the right temperature now. So I'm going to put the curry puff into the oil. Since I do it at home, I use minimum oil and I have to do it multiple batches. And keep it about 160 to 170 degrees Celsius. Normally it will take about 5 to 6 minutes of this size. Usually I will just look at the color of the pastry. Just use a chopstick to press it a little bit so that it is fully submerged in the oil, as there's some air trap inside, so it is quite light. And from time to time move it around, turn it around. So once the color has turned to golden as what you wish, remove it and put it on a paper towel to drain away the excess oil. And continue to finish the remaining of my curry puffs. Let me show you one. That's how it looks like inside the Malaysian curry puff. Very, very nice. That's how to make a Malaysian karipap, and I hope you will love this recipe. And I've tried to make it as clear as possible, every single step, from making the fillings to how to make the dough, to wrap the dough, and to fry the karipap. And if you like this recipe, I've included it in the description below the video and also at the end of this video for your reference. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and enjoy your karipap. Bye for now.